Okay, I want you to graph these two lines on the same plane. Okay, make that table. Now the first equation, you have y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. And the other one, you got y equals 2x minus 2. Okay, split the y, it's by itself, so you have your m and b right there. Slope y int. So the slope is negative 1 over 2, and the y-intercept's plus 4. So on the y-axis, you go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Then from there, you go down 1, forward 2. Take a ruler, connect the points. Okay, now the other one, MB. Slope would be 2 over 1, and then minus 2 is your y-intercept. So down negative 1, negative 2. Okay, then you go forward 1, up 2. Now, unlike Tuesday, these are not parallel, okay? They cross. Not only do they cross at an angle. The angle is 90 degrees, okay? They cross at a 90. If you take a protractor and measure that angle, it's 90. If it's 90 degrees, there's a term for that. It's called perpendicular. P-E-R-P-E-N-D-I-C-U-L-A-R. Perpendicular. Just spell it the best you can. That's not really important. Now I want you to look at the slopes we just graphed. They're not the same. They were the same last time we met because they were parallel. I want you to write down those slopes and look at them. What's the difference? Well, they're flipped. And one's negative, one's positive. That means opposite. So they are flipped and they have opposite signs. Okay. Let's look at another one. Y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 2. Now, you know these are going to be perpendicular before you graph because look at your m's. I'll write them here. Y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 2. So MB. Now look at the m's. They're flipped, and one's positive and one's negative, so they will be perpendicular, okay? If you draw it straight, if you draw the line like crap, it's not going to look that way. So 2/3 is the slope, 2 over 3, minus 1 is the y-intercept. So you go down 1, and you go forward 3, up 2. Okay, then slope here is negative 3 over 2, and then plus 2 is the y-intercept. You go forward 2, down 3. Okay, once again, the lines do cross at a 90-degree angle, okay? 90-degree angle is like a square angle, okay? That means 90. Okay, now, last time we met, we wrote an equation of parallel lines. Remember, parallel, circle parallel, and parallel lines have the same m, same slope, same m. Okay, so I want to remind you how to do that. This is not the example. Y equals blank x plus blank, that's m, that's b. So m is slope, b is y int. Okay, now look at the equation you were given, okay? y is by itself, m, b. You don't care about the b, get rid of it. So if they have to have the same m, so that's 5, so I have to have 5 over here, okay? This was what we did Tuesday. Okay, so m, and then y equals m times x plus b finds b. So m is 5. And then my b, I use 4, negative 3. So 4 is y, negative 3 is x. So you got 4, put b, 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Then plus 15, plus 15, 19 equals b. Okay, and there's your equation. That equation, or parallel. That means the lines will go like this, never touch. Now we're going to be doing perpendicular today. Perpendicular. But there's a little skill you need before we go to the problems. I want you to find the reciprocal and make it opposite. Now, reciprocal means flip the fraction. Well, first there has to be a fraction, so I put a 1, then I flip it. And if this is positive, I want this negative, okay? Make it a fraction first, put it over 1, then flip it, positive, negative, okay? It's already a fraction, so flip it to 5 over 3, that's positive, so this is negative. Flip that to 3 over 2, that's positive, that's negative. Flip that to 6 over 5, that's negative, so mine's positive. Flip that to 6 over 1, that's positive, mine's negative. Flip that to 1 over 6, that's negative, mine's positive. And flip it to 5 over 4, that's positive, mine's negative. Okay, now with that out of the way, here's what you're doing on the assignment, okay? Write an equation in slope-intercept form that passes through the given point and is perpendicular to the given equation. Circle the word perpendicular because your m is based off that word. It's not the same m when it's perpendicular. You flip m and make it opposite. Flip m opposite. Instead of the same m, you're going to flip m, make it opposite. So y equals blank x plus blank. So m b. So m is the slope and b is the y-end. Now, what's the m in that equation? Y is by itself, so we got mb. We don't care about the b though. Okay, their m is negative 3, but it's not the same. You got to flip the m and make it opposite. Well, I got to put a 1 under it so I can flip it to 1 over 3. And the opposite of negative is positive. Okay, so you're just going to put 1/3 right there. And then b's, I got to find a different b than plus 2. I don't even care about that plus 2. You write y equals m times x plus b. So the m is 1/3, okay? Then 2 goes in for y and negative 6 goes in for x. So you got 2 plus, put your b down. You take 1 ABC 3 times negative 6. That's negative 2. Now get rid of your negative 2. Just add it. That's 4. 4 equals b. And there's my equation. Okay, perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x minus 1 through negative 2, 3. That means my equation, if you would put a negative 2 in, y would have to come out as 3. So y equals space x plus space mb. So m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Circle that to find m, circle that word perpendicular. You need to flip m and make it opposite. Okay, so the question is, do I have my m? Yes, I do, because y is by itself, so mb. Now you flip it to 2 over 1 and make it opposite. So it's positive here, so it's going to be negative here. Now, here's another thing. Guys, here's a new thing I'm going to tell you. If you have a 1 and it is on bottom, if it's a 1 and if it is on bottom, you can get rid of it. and just put -2 in there. Then you don't have to have a fraction. But it has to be a 1 and it has to be on bottom. Okay, then b. Y equals m times x plus b. So the m is -2, and then 3 is y, -2 is x. -2 times -2 is 4, then you minus 4. 3 minus 4 is -1. -1 equals b. There you have it. Okay, perpendicular to y equals 1/5 x plus 3 through 10 -3. So y equals space x plus space m b. Okay. M is the slope, b is the y-end. Now, perpendicular, you flip m and make it opposite. So what is m here? Well, if y is by itself, I have my m right away. B, ditch the plus 3, don't need it. Flip it, 5 over 1. Theirs is positive, mine's negative. Guys, what I tell you, if you have a 1 and it's on bottom, you can get rid of it and just have it be -5. But it has to be a 1, it has to be on bottom. Y equals m times x plus b. So m is -5, -3 is y, times 10 is x. Going to get a big answer here for b. -5 times 10 is -50. Then I plus 50 to each side. And -3 plus 50 is 47. Okay. Perpendicular to y equals 2/5 x plus 3 through -6, 5. Okay, MB. Remember, perpendicular. Sorry, I should have done that first. That means you flip M and make it opposite. Flip it to 5 over 2. This is positive, so mine needs to be a negative. Now, you don't have a 1, you don't have it on bottom, so you keep it -5 over 2. Remember, crossing out the number, only if it's a 1, only if it's on bottom. So m is -5 over 2. So if y would be 5, and then -6 would be the x. Okay, so we take -5 ABC2 times -6, that's 15. And then minus 15. Remember, to solve for b, don't do that one dot circle. So it's -10. Okay, 2 left. Perpendicular to y equals 5x plus 4 through -10, 3. Remember what perpendicular means? It means the m is flipped and it's made opposite. Opposite in regards to negative, whether it's negative or positive. So y equals blank x plus blank. So mb. So m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Okay. Y is by itself, so you have your m and b. You don't use the b, you don't even care what that number is, okay? Now you have to flip the m. Well, we make it a fraction first, then we flip it to 1 over 5. That's positive, so mine is negative, so -1/5. Then the b, y equals m times x plus b. Three is y, -10 is x. B plus, then I take -1 ABC5 times -10, and that's 2. Then you minus minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 equals b. Answer. Okay, last problem. Now this one's a little bit challenging. Perpendicular. M is flipped. That's the opposite. But I don't see my M because the y isn't by itself. Okay, so copy the equation down, and we have to get the y by itself. Now remember how to do that. You make a wall, dot circle your y, put a 1 in front of the x. You don't want that as negative. You need to switch the signs. Negative, positive, negative. Now check mark. Now it's positive. Now we go. Plus 1x. Then I make a 0x and plus 1x. So you put 1x first, and then plus negative 4. And divide these all by 2. And now the y will be by itself. Now what's on the other side? 1 divided by 2 is a decimal, so keep it 1 over 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. That's your b, but we don't care about the b. Now, there's my m, but I have to flip it to 2 over 1. And if that's positive, well, then mine has to be negative. Remember, if you have a 1 on the bottom, see up here, the 1's on top, but it has to be the number 1, it has to be on bottom, you can get rid of it and just put negative 2. Then y equals m times x plus b. So m is negative 2. Okay, so y is negative 6, and then times 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Then you add 2. Negative 4 equals b.